Idaho's farmers and ranchers have joined conservationists and sportsmen in an effort to protect Idaho's greatest resource, its scenic beauty. They want lawmakers to pass legislation that would keep the Gem State's wide open spaces open. Just outside of Driggs, Idaho, the first rays of the sun breaks over the Tetons. The sunrise is spectacular and threatened. Explosive growth in Teton County is not only threatening the view, but destroying game habitat and the farms and ranches that have worked the land here for generations. That worries a group of unlikely allies, farmers, ranchers, sportsmen, and conservationists who want valuable lands set aside.
If you look at the Tetons and see the rolling foothills in front of them, those lands are agricultural or forest lands. If they're covered with houses, we never get that agricultural or that open view ever again. It's gone forever, and those are the kinds of lands we want to preserve.
The group says Idaho's working farms, ranches, and timberlands offer the way of life, rural character, open space, and outdoor recreation vital to maintaining Idaho's natural resource heritage. They're proposing a tax credit to landowners that set aside these valuable lands.
In other words, they would agree with the state to not develop their land, to keep it open, to provide the wildlife benefits and the water quality benefits, and in exchange, they would receive as an income tax credit half of the value of their donation.
The diverse work group came together in 2005 to discuss changing rural landscapes. What they saw was alarming. Habitat, forest lands, farms, and range disappearing before their eyes. Rancher Jim Little.
As I watched the kind of the helter-skelter direction we're going and in my local area, and I said, what's this going to look like in 50 years? And I don't think any of us are going to like it very well.
You think about what people value in Idaho. They value the wildlife, they value the large open landscapes, they value the ability to be outdoors and have room to recreate on.
The group says Idaho is losing wildlife habitat, and that affects not only hunting but the Endangered Species Act. Tax incentives for open space would ease Idaho's growing pains.
The reality is that a lot of the game that we find so valuable relies on private lands to grow them, to provide them the habitat and the winter range that they need.
Courtney Washburn of the Idaho Conservation League says incentives will help ensure working lands remain working, and good stewards will be rewarded.
So it's time for policymakers to step forth and start protecting some of those natural resources, which largely are in private land in Idaho.
The breathtaking Snake River winds through the basalt cliffs and the scenic Lundquist Ranch. Here, native grasslands, irrigated pastures, and wildlife habitat are lovingly managed by Mark Lundquist and his family. But up and down the river, homes are being built on the banks of the Snake.
You put a house on it, it's done. You don't take the house off and farm it.
Yeah.
But any other use that we do, we can always go back to the farming if the land isn't encumbered with a house or a subdivision or something atrocious like that.
Lundquist wants to keep the land productive and beautiful on his 1,500-acre spread along the Snake. He signed an agreement setting up a conservation easement.
There's a couple of fellows in the valley that's all they want to see. They think I'm about the dumbest person they've ever seen in their life because they want to subdivide the whole thing. Personally, I feel like sooner or later the American people are going to find out that they need the American farmer, and hopefully there will be a few of us left when they realize that it's time to start taking care of their farmers.
Lundquist says Idaho's farmers and ranchers need help keeping their land open for production agriculture. The Ranch, Farm, and Forest Protection Act offers incentives to landowners.
Those of you that...
Susie Schaefer is heading up the effort this session at the Idaho State House.
The interest, of course, is what you're looking at here, which is preserving working lands in this state. Whether we're looking at timberlands or ranching lands or farming lands, that is the objective of our legislation. And of course, we have a broad spectrum because those folks are interested in not just the sportsman aspects of it, but the working lands, historical, cultural aspect of it, and also preserving some of our pretty rare wildlife values in the state.
Dr. Harold Noakes of McCall is preserving his land just blocks from the resort town. For 57 years, the retired doctor and forester has lovingly tended to this timbered land.
This property has been a big part of my life. for many years. The old environmentalists used to talk about respect for the land. Not respect, they used to talk about reverence for the land. Well, reverence to me is a combination of respect and love, and I have both of those things for this land and have for many years, which has been a guiding principle in how we've managed it.
Noakes gives the public tours of the land so they can see how a managed forest works, a place where people can learn from the land.
Our goal actually has been to keep this as close to a natural forest as we possibly can, as close to, whether to use the word perfect or not, but as close to a good forest as we possibly can. That means that we do logging. Now, the logging provides benefits. We're producing wood fiber, we're producing lumber, we're providing jobs for people, both in the logging industry and the wood milling industry.
And as the sun sets on another Idaho vista, more and more Idahoans are inspired to protect the breathless beauty of the state. They're urging Idaho lawmakers to pass incentives before these priceless view sheds are lost forever.